All right, welcome back to another episode of Sandy Woods Hunting Podcast. I am Talon.
I'm Kyle.
This is episode 10.
Moving along fast.
And we got Zach Duff on today.
It's my good buddy from college.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in probably, I don't know what, 5 years now. Have him on today, talk some turkey.
He's a good turkey hunter.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about something different.
Yeah, and this warm weather's got us a little bit fired up too. Because, I mean, we had almost 80 degrees yesterday, and like you said the other day, you've been hearing some gobbling out in the woods where you work.
Yep. I heard it. Let's see. Last week, a couple times when the weather really broke, and then heard a couple yesterday morning. So, and I've seen a couple fanned up in the field. So it's a good sign. Last year, they were. Will was telling us that they were mating a little bit early, so it made it better when turkey season came in because they were already off their first set of hens. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk to. We call him Duff. His name's Zach.
Yeah.
Because he's a really good turkey hunter and he likes it more than deer hunting, and we're not very good turkey callers. So I'm excited to get some tips, and maybe he'll teach us how to use the mouth call.
I'm terrible. I'm not a good turkey hunter. I've never really.
I'm bad too.
Gotten into it. I've never shot one. I just never really got into it like a lot of these guys like Duff gets into it, but. We got some time to do it, and we got a podcast, and want to start filming some footage, and maybe we can get a couple turkeys on camera.
I think he's going to come down. He'll talk more about it, but I think he's going to come down and try to shoot a turkey off of our land. Hopefully we can get some footage. That would be cool. Yeah. Or he can call for us, and one of us film each other. So that'll be cool. Yeah, I'm excited. We'll have him on in a couple minutes. So we got a special guest today, Zach Duff. What's up, my dude?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. I miss you, man. You look busy. How's life going? I see you're having a kid on the way.
Yeah, my wife. Actually, we're due June 26th this year, so
that's
awesome. We're looking forward to it. Just been busy with work and life and the adult life.
Yep. You doing
Bradford, but.
You doing concrete stuff, construction stuff?
No, project manager for a construction company based out of Lynchburg.
Cool, man.
Nice.
Good stuff. We were just talking. I miss the good old days in Radford. We played ball together.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that went by so fast, and I can't believe it's been 6 years since.
Has it been that long?
5 years. Sorry.
It's crazy.
Since we've been out, time flies.
So tell us about yourself real quick. Tell us about your hunting experience, what you're really good at.
To be honest with you, man, I love hunting. I mean, no matter deer, turkey, bear hunting, rabbit hunting, I don't know. Growing up, I mean, my dad didn't really start hunting until I was kind of like pushing him to hunt. Like all my friends and cousins hunted, and I was like, man, I really want to get out here and, try this thing. So I started deer hunting, I don't know, probably 9 or 10 years old. We have probably like 20 acres in Bedford County, So we started deer hunting, and I loved it. And then I had some friends like, have you ever been turkey hunting before? And I was like, no, but I would like to try it. I think this was when I was like 11 or 12. So my dad would buy an old Primos. It's called a Primos Jackpot Glass Call. So the opening day, and I was like, I think I was 10 or 11. We sat down, and he didn't start calling till all the birds were on the ground, after the sun came up and everything. And a bird came strutting into our decoy setup at the time. And I can just remember seeing the iridescence in his feathers and everything. And this fan came up over the sun. And I literally sat there with the hammer cocked and never pulled the trigger, just mesmerized by the gobbler that came strutting in. My dad was like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "Are you going to shoot?" And I just sat there, the bird putted and took off, and that was my first turkey hunt.
And then you were hooked ever since?
Absolutely.
Tell us about Bedford, where it's at, and where it's what it's known for.
Nobody really knows probably where Bedford is, but if you know where Liberty University is in Lynchburg, it's probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes away.
We're
Central Virginia.
I'm going to bring this up later, but I think it's probably top 3 counties for deer hunting in the state.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sleeper, but we'll talk about that more. But yeah, so we're gonna start this thing with some rapid questions. All right, so you can't think about it. You just gotta say what comes to your mind as quick as possible. You got it?
All right.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Deer hunting or turkey hunting?
Turkey hunting.
Box call or slate call?
Slate.
Decoy, no decoy?
Boy.
Tom decoy or hen decoy?
And
Spur length or beard length?
spurs.
Hemp or THC?
Hemp.
Copenhagen or grizzly?
Grizzly.
Wide buck or tall buck?
Ooh, tall.
Early season turkey hunting or late season turkey hunting?
Late.
Punch a wall and break your hand or don't do that?
Don't do that. Don't ever do that.
Compound bow or crossbow?
Compound.
Sandy or Cam?
Cam.
That's good. That's good.
I don't know if Sandy watches it, but fuck you, Sandy.
I don't think either one watched that, but I figured I tried to come up with a couple clever ones, but it was hard.
Good.
I figured the punch the wall one would make you laugh.
You really punch a wall?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't chew tobacco anymore.
Bullshit! You lying.
I jumped on the Zen train. I just do Zens now.
How many lips would you answer this one first? Okay. How many lips would you put in a day?
I can. So what?
Okay.
8.
Okay.
8 to 10.
All right. How many lips would you put in before our 6 a.m. lift? Be honest.
1.
No, it was 2. You said you'd wake up in the morning and you put one in before we started. That's when I knew.
So.
That's when I knew you had a problem.
I was an idiot.
So you're on the Zen train now?
Yeah, and I remember those 6 a.m.s. I always would bum a protein bar off Nardi. we were freshman year roommates. I'm like, Nardi, man, I know. I'll repay. Can I get a protein bar, please?
I think one time, more than one time, you'd be like, hey, you got a red shirt? I'm like, Zach, I only got 2 red shirts. Like, bro, where's yours? I left it at home. Like, home? What do you mean?
Oh, God, what was my issue?
You were always bumming stuff off people. Good times, man. Good times.
Those were, yeah.
But, all right, so.
Those are some good shirts. Those were all over the spectrum.
Yes. And it's, like you said, we're getting, 5-6 years out of that now, so now we're officially old.
Crossbow to compound. I can remember that one buck you shot with a crossbow. How many times? 3?
That's in our intro.
That's our intro.
I've got a shirt on and I've got like khaki pants with no hat. And I remember leaving practice. Do you remember Copper Beach?
Yeah.
That little public area there? That was good times. I remember I just crawled up in somebody else's stand in public land and that thing walked out. I was like, what in the heck?
Shot it in the
And
I think Luke Wilson still
he killed a big one over there.
Yeah,
he did.
But yeah, that was a little secret spot over there. That and the West End property, there were some big deer.
Yeah, it was. I forget the name. I don't want to really mention any of those names, or I don't know who watches this, but
It's been a while.
I don't know if you're going to be listening to the Sandy Boys podcast.
Sandy Woods, get it right.
I know. The one time I was hunting there at Copper Beach, So I get up in the stand. Kyle's like, "Yeah, man, just walk through the woods and you'll find a stand. Just hop up in it." I'm like, "Is this somebody else's stand or is it yours?" He goes, "I don't. Yeah, you're good." And I was like, "All right." And so I'm literally just facing a road, and I'm like, "Dude, what the hell is this?" Next thing you know, it's just a fucking line of deer coming across the road. I saw 25 deer, shot 2.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're facing a green field and the asphalt hardtop is straight through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I missed deer out of that freaking stand. I think it was a 4-pointer or something.
And meanwhile, it was none of our stands. It was just a random person's stand.
No.
We were jumping up in.
saw anybody else hunt it unless it was talent or a baseball guy.
Now, we won't get too far off topic. We're already off topic. I did get caught on the other land, and I got caught with Mason Scoville. Me and Mason were in the stand together. Mason goes, "Hey, something's coming." I look over, I'm like, God, no way. Somebody's walking right to the stand. They started cussing us out before they got to 100 yards. I could hear them talking. I'm like, Mason.
Oh my! I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
No, just one more story real quick. The funniest story about Copper Beach is when Kyle borrowed his roommate's compound bow, and he calls me. He goes, "Hey, I just broke his compound bow." I was like, "How the fuck?" No,
it was Mason.
Yeah. Mason Christian.
Yeah.
He leaned over. He was in a climber. He leaned over the railing.
I tried to let it go, and it hit my stand when I let it go, and it just basically bursted in front of me. What just happened? Good times, though.
I can't imagine walking in, just a mangled bow. It's like, hey, man, I'll buy you a new one.
Good times.
That was that old blue comp, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was. It was. But all right, so the reason you're on, obviously we want to catch up and all that good stuff, but you're a good turkey hunter, right? So a lot of this is going to be about turkey hunt because we got the season coming up in what is it, 2 weeks? 2 weeks is Youth Day, and 3 weeks is when everybody can start. So we're gonna start this thing off by Talon and I giving you our best call. Okay. We're not professional callers. We wouldn't even call ourselves good callers. All right, and that's probably why we don't kill a lot of turkeys. But so the game is you got to rate us 1 to 10. 1 being really bad, 10 being really good. All right, and you cannot bullshit us. Like you have to be real. If it's bad, give us a bad score. If it's good, let us know. And it's not just sound like sequence. We're gonna do it for like 10 seconds, right? So maybe we'll hit a couple clucks, some long purrs. You know, you got to judge us on that. You got it?
Yep.
Talon's gonna start us off.
Okay. Let me explain something first. I couldn't find my pencil for my slate call. So
you're doing a mouth call.
Yeah, so that's what I usually use.
No, don't even. Just do your mouth call.
But I did have mouth calls that I haven't touched and put it in my mouth, and it was filled with dust. So it didn't taste good. All right,
let's do it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Go on.
Delay of game.
I'll stick the reeds.
Let's go. That was bad.
Did you do it?
There you go.
I can't do it. That's all I know how to do.
All right, get your score.
Because I didn't coming out of his mouth.
You didn't hear anything?
No.
Thank God. It was bad.
All right, this is mine. All right. I got the box call. All right. I got the whole box call. Ready?
Okay.
I don't like that face. Oh, this thing's rusty.
About a 4?
That was a 4. What was Talon's?
Oh my God.
But let me tell you something about like your sound. Of course, you want to try to be the most proficient caller you possibly can be, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I do think it helps you in the woods. But like if you ever like a Grand National calling competition, for instance, that's humans judging other humans calling.
Right.
If you listen to a wild hen, it's the most god awful noise. It's like I don't know if you've heard the term like a front end, like that rollover in the yelp. You hear a lot of guys like yelp yelp yelp. Like you see a lot of natural hens, they don't sound like that.
Yeah.
They just sound rusty. You know what I mean? So.
All right,
of course, everybody wants a efficient caller.
Give us what it should sound like. Show us what it should sound like then.
I am not.
And don't even. Don't even.
Yeah,
you practice every day to work and every day back. Give it to us.
So this is I'll start out by like wines. I mean, if a bird hammers your soft stuff, then most likely he wants to play the game. He's a killable bird. Mm-hmm. So I'll just do some wines and bubble clucks.
All right, I heard that.
Yeah, it's
great. Oh, dang.
It just looks like you're not.
Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear it. It looks like you're doing the turkey head.
Ew.
We heard it a little bit at the beginning.
Man. Try a different call.
You got a box call or anything with you?
I do not carry a box call. We'll break a box call. I carry a wing bone, one slate call, and a couple mouth yelpers. You
got any of that with you right now?
A wing bone? Usually I use a wing bone like in the mountains or something. I mean, that thing is loud.
Well, I know you're a good caller because I've hunted with you, and have I been with you when you killed a turkey? I think I came home with you one spring break.
Easter.
Oh, and Easter. That's right. Those are good times.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a sound file, I can send you one. No big deal.
We'll make sure. Hey, send it to us. We'll put it on the. We'll try to put it in when you're doing the call.
Yeah, because all we have is just you.
That's weird though. I don't understand that.
It's got to be something with the.
That's funny.
Being high pitch. I don't know. That's funny though.
All right, so we'll transition to the questions and some topics. All right, we want to get your opinion on. So we've been doing this with everybody, basically just asking questions about what you're good at, right? Because obviously we brought you on for that reason, but we want to learn and we want the people who watch this to learn a little bit too. So we'll start with a couple questions. I'll start with one of mine, then we'll switch back and forth.
All right.
So what do you suggest to a turkey hunter that actually likes turkey hunting, but they're not a good caller? So like us, right? Even average callers, right? They just don't really know how to do it. They know how to do a box call. They know how to do a slate call. That's about it. What do you suggest to them? Like if they're not learning and they're not going to learn, like what do you suggest to a guy that cannot call but likes to turkey hunt?
Ooh, so I mean, if you want to, does the person you want to get better at calling, no matter if it's like slate, box, diaphragm call?
Right. Yeah, hopefully. That's the goal. But let's just say some person doesn't want to put in the time to get better, or they just can't get better, or they don't have time for it. And they just want to go out on a couple Saturdays in turkey season and hunt. Do you recommend they just take a box call, or?
I would start with a slate call. You see a lot of people, you can be proficient on a slate call, you can be proficient on a mouth call or a box call. It doesn't matter. They're all turkey.
Okay.
I would just, honestly, if you want to be proficient, try to call as much as you can and get in the woods is the biggest thing, is getting in the woods and woodsmanship. To be honest with you, how to move around the woods and know what to do and know what not to do, what works and what doesn't work. There's not like a cookbook, if you will, for turkey hunting.
So, kind of going off that question, if you're not a great caller, does that mean call less in the woods?
Yeah, it can be. It all depends on where you're at.
Right.
If you're going to hunt, say a public spot, and the gate, you see tire tracks, and foot tracks everywhere. I'm probably not going to be calling a lot, and I'm not going to be calling a lot. Like, say you have an access road that's, the bar pole's closed, and you have to walk. A lot of those guys are probably going to be calling from the roads.
Right.
So each time I go to a public spot like that, I try to do what everyone else is not doing. So if everyone's calling to those birds from the road, I'm probably going to park there, but I'm probably going to go and deviate from that road and get off somewhere else and call to that bird where he's never been called to before. Because most likely, that bird's going to think in his mind, oh man, this hen's over there now. I'm comfortable with this area. The hen's not calling from the road anymore where I know danger is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Amen.
So it's little things like that. I think, they play a huge part in your success. So everybody wants to hear a turkey gobble, right? Everybody wants to call, but that's not killing. You're making a turkey gobble, but you're not killing them.
Amen. I feel like a lot of people get like hated on for like if they don't call in a turkey a perfect way, right? I mean, that's cool doing everything like how you want it to go, but sometimes it's just, you know, sitting on the edge of the field and calling every 30 minutes kind of lightly if you're not very good, and having a gobbler come out and check what's going on, right? That's still killing a turkey too. So I like that answer. But Talon, what you got?
I don't want to ask.
Look, can I ask one thing?
Sure, man. This is your podcast.
So, like, say me, you, and Talon are hunting, and I'm calling, and a bird's gobbling. He's gobbling good. Necessarily what Scott Ellis says is taking the bird's temperature. So if I'm sitting there and I'm just doing a couple light trios and that bird's crushing it, I know that bird's probably interested in me, right? But if I'm sitting there cutting at a bird and he's gobbling, but he's not hitting the soft stuff or any yelps, and I'm trying, like, essentially forcing a gobble out of him, that bird's probably not interested. He's probably got hens, you know, he's probably got a sloot of hens roosted with him. So a lot of times like that, those birds, I know it's easy for people to hear a turkey gobble and go straight to it. But a lot of times I like to, how are they gobbling? You know what I mean? Like, if I got a bird hammering, of course I'm going to go to him. But if I have to force a gobble out of a bird, I'm probably going to mark him, say, you know, he's not ready. I'm going to give him 5 days. I'm going to give him 2 weeks, and I'm going to come back and check on him. Maybe he'll be done breeding the hens, and I'll come back to him later in the year and check him.
Right.
A lot of times be successful.
It's a good answer. I like that because I feel like, you know, everybody hears one bird and the panic button is hit, and it's like, get as close as you can to that bird and never stop calling. It's like, you know, maybe that works if it's at the right time, but most of the time it's not, right? Because especially late in the season when they get educated, right?
Yeah.
So, Talon, what you got?
So I'm not going to ask one of the questions up there. I'm just going to replace it because I was thinking about something. So
what you got to do?
So I was talking to a guy at work, and he's a big turkey hunter. And he was like, yeah, man, I'd love to come call a bird for you. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So he told me that he busts birds a lot. Have you ever heard of that? Where he says he would find a group of birds and he would bust them. So basically get them to fly up in the tree so you know exactly where they roost, or is that how? I don't know. The way that he worded it.
That's more or less like a fall tactic, right?
Yeah. So,
like in fall, you'll have a turkey dog, and they'll send the turkey dog in there, and they'll flush all the birds, and then you'll call them back. I've never necessarily heard of that tactic during the springtime, but I mean, I guess if it works, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just fall tactic.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I was just wondering if you did, but like, so as far as what would you say what's the best approach to hunting birds that are roosted, and you go the evening before, do you
know what limb he's on, or do you know what general vicinity that bird's in?
Yeah, so vicinity.
All right. What kind of turkey do you guys hunt? Is it like planted pines with hardwood bottom?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
On a creek. So a lot of the turkeys on the property, they roost along the small creek that we have.
Right. As I would think they would. I don't know. I mean, how far? I know where a turkey is. I'm probably not gonna try to get as tight to them because you're gonna flush birds. It's inevitable. You turkey hunt enough, you are going to spook a fair amount of birds.
Yeah.
That's why, like, if I don't know where a bird is, I'm gonna try to get it in the general vicinity of that bird, right, and just wait for him to gobble. If he gobbles in gray light, that's awesome. I'm gonna try to my bedroom slippers on, and I'm gonna try to make a half circle around him. Is it? What's the elevation? Are you guys pretty flat?
We're about as flat as you can get.
Yeah, so, I mean, the rule of thumb is you always want to try to stay above a bird. Like steep terrain, you always want to be above them.
Well, we may need a really tall ladder stand to get above our birds.
Shoot from a helicopter.
No, I know what you mean.
I have a friend that has a hunt club, and it's pretty much the same setup. It's planted pines, right, and it's hardwood bottoms. I always find birds in the hardwood bottoms because you got to think this time of year. that's where all the vegetation's coming up. Because those hens are going to be feeding down there. And the rule of thumb also, too, I know there's some truth to it, but if a bird's roosted low, he's got hens. If a bird's roosted high, then he's by himself. You know, he's gobbling to broadcast his gobble trying to call up a hen.
Right.
So, I mean, I love getting tight to birds. I do, but I have to know more than a general vicinity where that bird is. I would just try to say, if you have a bird and you know the general vicinity where he's roosted, I would try to get at least 100, 150 yards from that bird.
Okay.
If you can. And that means, like the opening day last year, I roosted a bird Friday evening. And I got set up at that bird at 4 in the morning. And this place is an hour from my house. So I didn't go directly to this bird where he was. I went all the way around and came up behind him. And I didn't walk straight to him. This is what I was talking about with, what is everybody doing? I want to do the opposite, right? So I would go around that bird and try to get above him. Everybody else probably took the road right to him. But I was trying to hit another angle where that bird was, not really familiar with.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, try to get 100, 150. If you can roost them in the evening, that's great. I've never had, besides that, a handful of times, I've never had great success on roosting birds, at least around here.
So stemming off that question, I know with deer, right, if a mature deer busts you, right, they could be gone from the area forever, right? I mean, not necessarily, right. But, there's a chance. What happens when a mature tom busts you, whether you walk up on it or it just sees you or it knows what you were doing isn't real? Like, does that bird fly out of the area, or does he forget it in a short amount of time, or do you know anything about that?
Depends on how bad you spook him. If I'm working a bird and that bird starts alarm putts and he walks off, you give that bird 20, 30 minutes and he'll probably start gobbling on his own again. Yeah. But you say you shoot and miss a bird, yeah, and he starts sailing, I'm probably going to give that bird a week, maybe 2 to 5 days, something like that. But, everybody says, you know how small a turkey head is and the brain's not that big, but they're a smart damn bird, man. They are. You got to think. I mean, they can realize hens' voices and everything. You know what I mean? They understand all that and they remember that. They can probably pick out every beard hair on your face too. Yeah, that's right. I don't know, turkey. Some people act like turkey's a mythical creature. They just have the will to survive. Yeah, their eyes are next level. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, if turkeys had hearing like a deer, nobody would ever kill them. Yeah, they'd be, like you said, the animal that nobody could kill. Did that answer your question? It did. I assume that a turkey is a little bit less smart than a deer in regards to moving out of the area, but I figured if you shoot at it or it's like, holy shit, I saw you, there's got to be some repercussion and some time that you have to give that bird because they just got educated, right? But unlike if you spook a 10-pointer you've seen on camera a million times, you're not going to know what turkey that is necessarily. That's true. So that's true. I don't know how you would know. It's like Corey. Last year, I think it was the last week of season, I was having a friend at a hunt club, and we were set up in Pines. My friend, he knew this place like the back of his hand. He's like, I just killed a bird here yesterday. Come in here with me. We'll set up. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's fun. Bird was roosted in the same spot the day prior, and he saw his friend get shot. And he was roosted within 10 yards of the same tree. So we got in there. It was on a hardwood bottom with pine ridge. We got set up early. The bird started gobbling. I was doing little tree yelps. He answered me back, so I was like, okay, he knows where I am. I'm putting my mouth call away. They flew down. 2 of them came in, and the pines. My vantage point right here, and then my buddy was 5 yards to my right and behind me. Right. He had a wide open down through there. And then me, 5 yards to the left. I couldn't see. I had pine trees just lined up. And they started putting. So I was like, all right, I told my friend, I was like, just let them walk off, and then we're going to circle around these birds. So they walked off, say, to our left. And we made a half circle all the way around and tried to get in front of them. Hit one call, he gobbled, dead 5 minutes. So, I mean, like, they were putting at us, but they didn't necessarily. Only reason they were putting because they saw a hen, or they didn't see a hen where a hen should have been when we were calling.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a lot. People make a mistake. They'll set up on a bird, and it'll be a wide open space, nothing but air between you and the bird, right? And that bird always sits out there about 80 yards and just struts back and forth. He gets hung up because he's looking for the hen. He's like, well, I heard the hen over here. I should be able to see her.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes I always try to put something in between me and the bird where he can't look around, whether it's like a roll in the terrain, like a deadfall or something that he has to come around and look. I know you guys probably hunt a lot of logging roads.
Yeah.
So if like you're calling the road and you have a bend in the road, I try to get around that bend so that bird has to physically walk around that logging road, come look for the hen. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to ask you one more question each, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right?
All right.
Talon, you want to ask one more, and I'll finish it?
Yeah, so I feel like you've already answered this, but are you kind of go to one spot, kind of stick there, hang around, or are you being as mobile as possible, try to get close to that bird?
I know that answer.
So you said, can you repeat that?
So,
can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so are you a mobile guy, or are you sit in the blind, pick it up, move it guy if the bird's far?
No, I don't use a blind at all wild turkey hunt. I can't. My ADD's too bad. I can't sit in a blind.
I know that.
On turkey. I don't know. It depends, man. A lot of people say you either kill them with your feet or you kill them with your seat. You either get up, cover a lot of ground, try to find a willing bird, or your patience. And what I told you about George Mayfield, what George Mayfield says, patience is just confidence in yourself. You know, having knowing that there's going to be a positive outcome and knowing why you have to be. But I think there's a time for patience, and there's a time where you need to grab a tree here, grab a tree there, get closer to that bird. It just all depends on how that gobbler's acting.
Right.
Amen.
So, like, early season a lot, like, those birds are super henned up. And a lot of people are like, oh, man, they're henned up today. I'm like, okay, what time's you hunt till? 9 a.m.? I'm like, well, most likely that bird's probably going to leave those hens and go find, something else. It's like we hunted a farm a couple years ago, me and my buddy, and we had a gobbler. I mean, we were walking around trying to strike one. Didn't have any, like, 9 a.m. We saw a bird. We saw a gobbler with a hen. And it was like 9:15 anyways. I was like, all right, well, let's just let him do his thing. We'll come back here in a little bit. So we went to get a biscuit or something. And we came back to that spot. The last spot we saw that gobbler with the hen. We called, bird gobbled. He was probably a couple hundred yards away, and he was looking for his hen. He was crushing the calls. 45 minutes, he was dead. And then we killed him at like 11:50. So that gobbler was responsible because he had lost his hen after we had left, and he was trying to find her.
Yeah.
And that's why we stopped at the last spot we had him at.
Smart. So this is
smart luck.
Yeah, both, right? So this kind of goes off that question a little bit. This is the last question. So say, either it's that time of the season or you've seen evidence that there's a big gobbler with 5 to 10 hens, right? How do you call differently, or is it the same when a tom is with a bunch of hens versus a tom is by himself? Like, how do you go about that? Is there different strategies, and is there different calling methods to that?
So I'll give you a pretty blunt answer. If I see a gobbler, he's got 10 hens with him, I'm probably gonna stick a pin in him and come back in a week or so. But
right.
A lot of times, if I see a gobbler, he's with a bunch of hens, he's with a flock essentially, I'm not going to call to that gobbler. I'm going to call to those hens and try to strike a nerve out of those hens.
Okay.
So, like you start with soft calling to a hen, and she starts cutting you off, and I'm gonna literally just mimic what she's saying. So you might drag those hens in, and that gobbler is most likely going to follow those hens.
So why are the hens coming in?
Why
are those hens coming in? Are they pissed?
Because, it's a territory thing, right? The gobblers, turkey, the wild turkey is a territorial creature. So, like, that's why, like, you hear people you hear gobblers gobbling this time of year. Those turkeys probably are gobbling at hens, but more than likely too, they're gobbling at other gobblers for territory.
Yeah, makes sense.
So like, if like you have a gobbler with 5 hens, I'm going to try to strike something out of that hen, and you don't want to start cutting at that hen because you could be like a Jenny, which is essentially like a jay, but a female.
Right. So
you don't want to get aggressive with them right away.
So say you're 30 minutes left in legal time, whatever it is, and like you got to draw that gobble off. Is there any like aggressive, like risky call that you can do to try to just draw him off like last second? Is a gobble? Will that work?
I've killed a lot of belly. It's ditching the nest and crawling if you can to that bird.
Yeah, you see that more and more nowadays.
So, I killed a bird in the National Forest last year on a river bluff. It was a bowl in the riverbank. These birds were roosted on an island on the river. And I took my vest. I know these birds weren't coming hill, and I slid down the hill to them. And they gobbled just enough to like where you could grab a tree here, grab 10 yards here, get close enough. If a bird can do that and he's not coming in, and if you're able to like crawl to that bird and get behind a tree or something like that, him seeing you, then raising up and killing him, then I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to get on the reaping thing right now because I have my own opinion with all that. But I've done that a lot of times. Like that bird's hung up, I'm taking my vest off and I'm army crawling and trying to kill that bird.
Yeah,
I think it works a lot. It's just you got to hunt hard. Turkey hunting is not easy.
No, not at all. And there's so many different strategies and like ways to do it. It's like, why would you just do one when you can try different things? And like you said, it's different with every location you're at, right? It's like whether it's heavy pressure or mountains or flatland or whatever it is, like there's a different way to go about it. So if you're just hunting your same style every year, you're not having success. There's other ways. That's why
it's persistence, man. One of my friends 3 years ago, he was never into turkey hunting, and he came with me one year, and I got him into turkey hunting, and he killed his first bird, and we had walked 8 miles that day. I think it was like the Sunday of opening weekend. He was like, "Oh man, let's just like." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "We are hunting until literally the last second of legal time." We ended up killing a bird damn near 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
He was hooked. It's persistence kills birds, man. Just hunting hard.
It's just like the rut. Like a lot of people will just hunt till 9 like they normally do in early season or late season. It's like, well, the rut's the only time to where the deer will move in the middle of the day. So like if you're not hunting that, you're almost giving yourself a way less opportunity because they're going to be up and moving, right? It doesn't seem like it while you're doing it. Just like when you're turkey hunting, right? You get 9, 10 o'clock, you're just standing there, you're like, nothing's going on. I hear other types of birds, and it's getting hot. You're like, they're probably up in the tree. It's not true, right?
It's easy to pack it up and give up.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
You're addicted.
You're gonna have days too where you're out there and you haven't heard a bird gobble in 5 days. You want to sell all your shit. But
what are you more addicted to? Turkey hunting or dipping? Don't tell me you don't dip. No.
I don't dip more.
Was that an Emily thing?
No, I just got tired of doing it, essentially.
Oh. You went to hemp and THC now? How's that going? How's that going for your family?
I do that on my family.
Like, how's the hemp business going?
Huh?
How's the hemp business going?
Good. I'm not really involved in it. My parents are retired. They love it. They do it.
Yeah. I like some hemp. Some good hemp and THC together. What do they call that? Weed?
Pot?
Oh, I got you. I understand now.
So are you guys going to go out and listen?
Yeah.
The next couple of weeks?
I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going tomorrow. But if we do get a couple birds on our property, we'll have you down.
Dude,
after you kill.
We'll find a bird. I'm not worried about that.
I'll hit you up on a call next week and we'll talk about it. But we appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, man, guys, that was fun.
Yeah.
I hope I answered some of your questions and gave you guys a good, not a starting point, but maybe some good pointers.
It's a starting point for me because I don't know shit about turkey hunting.
I learned a lot. So like that's
Good.
you know, we don't really care about you. We just care about your information. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Good.
No, I love you, man.
Good. I'm here to help, and I'm not the best turkey hunter there ever was. One thing I like to think about me is just I will hunt hard, and nobody will ever beat me to a bar pole.
Grind.
Yep, you got to, man.
Yeah, you got to. Well, I hope I'll talk to you before this, or before the season starts. But if we don't have a good turkey season, and keep us updated and send us some video. You know, even if we come up and videotape, or you come down and video, or we video you down here, we'd love to hunt with you a couple times.
Dude, I would absolutely love that, and I'd be willing to drive down there, and I wouldn't even bring a gun.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, man. But tell the family we said hello, and tell Emily we said hi, and keep us updated on the baby situation that's coming sooner than later.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yes, it is. It'll be here before you know it. Before I know it.
Yeah. So we appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Duff.
See ya.
Later.